There's a kind of silence that most people fear. The absence of voices, the quiet spaces where no distractions exist. The world teaches us that being alone is something to avoid, something that signals loneliness, failure, or isolation. But what if I told you that solitude is not a weakness, but a strength? That learning to be alone is one of the most powerful skills you could ever master. Tonight, we dive deep into the power of solitude, the hidden benefits, the personal transformations, and the reason why the ability to be alone is the foundation of true self-discovery. By the end of this journey, you may not only embrace solitude, you might even crave it. Why does solitude scare us? Why do so many people fill every silent moment with distractions, scrolling endlessly, keeping background noise on, surrounding themselves with people even when they don't want to? The truth is, many fear solitude because it forces them to confront themselves. Without distractions, there's no escape from your own thoughts. The regrets, the insecurities, the unanswered questions, they all rise to the surface. But avoiding solitude doesn't make these feelings disappear. It only buries them, letting them control you in ways you don't even realize. There's a reason why some of the greatest minds in history sought solitude. It's not about escaping the world, it's about understanding yourself. When you're alone, you learn who you are when no one is watching. And in that space, something incredible happens. Psychologists have found that spending time alone has profound effects on the brain. It reduces stress, increases creativity, and enhances emotional regulation. When we're constantly surrounded by external influences, our minds become reactive. We mirror others' emotions, opinions, and expectations. But solitude resets the mind. In silence, the brain activates what's called the default mode network, a state linked to deep self-reflection, problem-solving, and creativity. This is why some of the best ideas come when you're alone, during a quiet walk, a long shower, or a moment of stillness before sleep. Solitude gives your mind space to breathe, to process emotions, and to find clarity. It's in these moments that we truly understand what we want, what we fear, and what we must change. There's a big difference between loneliness and solitude. Loneliness is the pain of being disconnected. Solitude is the power of being connected to yourself. Loneliness feels like a void. It's the aching desire for companionship that isn't there. But solitude is different. It's a choice, a space you willingly enter to grow, to reflect, to recharge. Some of the most successful and fulfilled people cultivate solitude, not because they dislike others, but because they understand that self-connection is just as important as social connection. Think about it, if you can't enjoy your own company, how can you expect others to? If you don't know who you are when you're alone, how can you be sure you're not just becoming what others want you to be? So how do you get comfortable being alone? How do you turn solitude into something empowering instead of something to escape? The first step is changing the way you see it. Instead of seeing alone time as an absence, see it as an opportunity to read, to write, to explore your thoughts without interruption, an opportunity to disconnect from the world and reconnect with yourself. Next, create intentional solitude. Schedule time away from noise, from social media, from constant interaction. It doesn't have to be extreme. You don't need to disappear into the mountains for a month. Start small. An hour of silence in the morning, a solo walk, a day without checking notifications. Use this time to reflect, create, and observe. Write down your thoughts. Sit with discomfort instead of running from it. Let yourself experience true silence, and see what thoughts emerge when you're not being influenced by external noise. The more time you spend alone, the more you'll realize that solitude isn't empty. It's full of potential, full of growth, full of self-discovery. When you embrace solitude, you begin to notice something strange. You become less dependent on external validation. You stop needing approval from others to feel worthy. You stop fearing rejection, because you realize your worth isn't determined by how many people surround you, but by how well you know and accept yourself. You also become more present. Without constant distractions, life slows down. You notice details you used to overlook, the way the sunlight moves through your window, the sound of your own breathing, the thoughts that drift in and out of your mind. And perhaps most importantly, solitude makes your relationships stronger, not weaker. When you no longer rely on others to fill your empty spaces, your connections become genuine. You're no longer clinging to people out of fear of being alone. You're choosing to be with them because you truly value them. The ability to be alone is one of the greatest forms of self-mastery. It means you're comfortable in your own mind. It means you don't need constant stimulation to feel at peace. It means you're in control of your own happiness. The world constantly tells you to stay busy, to stay connected, to seek validation. But the truth is, true power comes from being able to step away from all of that and still feel whole. So tonight, take a moment. Sit in silence. Breathe. Be alone, not because you have to, but because you can. Because in that stillness, you may just find the person you've been searching for all along, yourself. A slow fade to a peaceful landscape. The sound of wind, the rustling of leaves. Text appears on screen. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's where we meet ourselves. Final words: if this video resonated with you, subscribe for more content that challenges the way you think. And tell me, when was the last time you truly embraced solitude?